Part 5.
We're finally done with Enoch, guys.
Welcome to this episode of Why It's Not in the Bible. Why am I so pumped today? Yeah, he's Taylor. I'm Killoran Fuentes. Why are we so pumped today? Why do you ask? Oh, I know why, Taylor. We're finishing freaking Enoch today. Sorry I'm in the same outfit. It's literally the same day as our last video.
She could not wait to finish this book.
I am amping up the hype because we are done. Yes. If he picks another book as lame as this one, I quit. I quit.
So Killoran is very disappointed to see the end of First Enoch.
Oh my gosh, I can't even fake it. Oh my gosh.
This is the 5th in a 5-part series. If you guys haven't seen the other parts, you can go back and check because as miserable as they made Killoran, they are still fun.
They're interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made them interesting. We made them interesting. Reading them was not interesting, which is why we're doing these videos. We don't want to if you want to read them, great. But if you don't want to read them, our Cliff Notes version on this channel is pretty good, if you ask me.
Yep. And so First Enoch, as we all know, is this Old Testament apocryphal book, basically, posited to take place during the time of Noah, thereabouts, but actually it was written pretty close to the time of the Maccabees, that sort of mid-testamental period of after all the Old Testament books are written, before the New Testament books are written. So what's interesting about this book is that there are times that it seems to be referenced by certain epistle writers. So it was definitely out there. It was definitely known as a book. But the question the early church had to face is it reliable? Is it trustworthy? Should it be in the Bible? They ultimately decided it was not, and we back that decision because we both don't like this book, as we have documented on here. But also, this book says some wild things. Today, in the final section, we are reading through what is referred to as the Epistle of Enoch. Now, something I don't think that we've covered before on here is that all of these 5 sections, apparently there is a case to be made that many people think that this book was originally written in a lot of smaller chunks of little books the way that we're reading it.
Okay.
And that they were kind of all stitched together because someone was like, these all kind of go together as a thing, which would make sense with the weird genre hopping and strange things throughout the books.
Stranger Things of Enoch.
But the Epistle of Enoch has this 5th part has 5 little parts within it. That's also super weird structure.
And did I care? No.
It's a Frankenstein of a conclusion here.
Yeah.
So let's just go through each part individually here. So the first section is the Apocalypse of Weeks. And this is various prophecies and representing the whole story of history as a series of 10 weeks. And in the first week, this thing happens. The world is created. In the second week, this thing happens. It's just a lot of that sort of stuff. And it's 7 weeks of various prophecies, but they're all prophecies of things that have already happened in the past. So there's that. And then there's 3 weeks of prophecies that are end times things that are going to happen. And then it's just and then there's infinite weeks after that. Second section is exhortation. This is the exhortation section of the book. And this is the part where it's hey, walk in righteousness or be judged.
I saw this section as kind of Isaiah, Psalms, and Revelation. So it kind of had that, the phrasing and the kind of mapping out as poetry, but it was predictions and prophecy and all of that. Reminded me of Psalms and Isaiah. And then obviously the kind of spooky end time stuff was angels and all that stuff that Enoch could just not resist to mention in every single section. That reminded me more of Revelation.
Yeah, and this section it's weird. The first 2 sections also, if you look at them, on even just Wikipedia breaks it down sort of thing. The first 2 sections do not break easily. It's oh, well, the first section is actually the 1st and the 4th chapter, and the 3rd section is the 2nd and 3rd chapter. And when you read this last part of Enoch, the chapters are out of order. why are they numbered if you're going to put them in the wrong order? Like, that's... And they're like, no. The person who originally wrote the book put it in the wrong order. We're just putting it back in the right order.
And the verses,
you get to do that to the Bible.
There was probably the way it's translated, but it was really confusing. There was a verse that began by saying not. So the first verse was something like, and they responded. And then the verse like 72 and it said not. Like they responded not. They couldn't just like include that word in the sentence to make it fully, because you're going to think that they said yes when they actually said no.
If it's that's not just what like this book is in a nutshell, like that's...
I don't know what is. Yeah.
All right, second section rolls into the third section, which is very similar structurally, and this is the part that is referred to as the actual epistle. So this is the epistle within an epistle. This is epistleception here. And the messages of the epistle, expressed over 14 chapters that are really repetitive, is don't oppress the righteous, don't trust in your riches, don't blaspheme, and then the wicked will be consumed and destroyed. That's basically the gist of it. Yeah?
Yes.
And they did have one interesting point here, which I don't know even like what the Christian theology on this would standard be. But I read this and I was like, that's an interesting thought, and I don't know if that's true or not, is sin was not sent on the earth. Mankind created it. Which I tend to think I agree with. I tend to think I agree with. But is interesting, given that they kind of structure a lot of this book as like, well, then those evil angels got on Earth and really ruined everything.
And it's like anarchy, yes.
And it's like, after all that, though, still people's fault. shouldn't have fallen for the evil angels.
Right, and a lot of this section, or the section in this section that's talking about all these commands, really reminded me too a lot of Isaiah, in the aspect of not so much prophecy, but like, I guess kind of that sinning really does lead to death and destruction. So many parts in this where it felt very like punishment oriented, but I think they were really trying to hone in the point that the righteous live righteously. They do not continue to live in sin. And I can follow that part because there's so much in the Bible that supports that. But that was very repetitive.
This is the least problematic part, I think.
Yeah, yeah. We can all get on the righteous live righteously. If you're living in sin, you're obviously sinful type of thing. But it really goes in depth of like, what are the consequences, and may mention an abyss or two. I'm not sure if you've seen our last video. They really like to mention the abyss. So
then the fourth section is... This is the weirdest part of this section. This is the birth of Noah.
Right. Didn't care. I was reading it and I was like, this isn't though, because it says excerpt of Noah or hidden something of Noah, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're gonna try to, if you did watch our video on the infancy gospel of Thomas, they're gonna try to slip in a real life story in this apocryphal book. No, they did not. They just wrote stuff on Noah that we don't know is true or not. Had nothing to do with the ark.
I think the implication of it is that there was actually the Book of Noah out there, and that they were like, oh, we're going to use a section from that, which we're not going to read the Book of Noah on here, at least for a very long time. I think we've all gotten our fill of this time.
It'll be with your new co-host. I'll have long quit by then.
Yeah. That's when I tortured Joe from the Bible Fan Show in a new way by bringing him on here and making him read bad books of the Bible.
Give all the crappy stuff to Joe.
Okay, so the birth of Noah, though, it's not a normal sort of birth here, you see, because Noah, when he is born, is bright and shiny, and so bright that apparently he acts as like a lamp in the household that lights up.
Praise the Lord, Noah. Praise the Lord that you're bright and shiny.
And he comes
being a drunk.
And he comes out born, and he's like speaking to God immediately, possibly speaking in tongues.
Wow.
And like that's immediate from birth, and he has long white locks, and they're like, and like his dad looks and he's like, so I think he's an angel. It's like, I think he's not my son. I think he's an angel. Like,
he talks out like the Allstate commercial, the little baby with the voice of the Allstate guy.
Yeah.
Like the really low voice. That's our angel baby, Noah.
And so Methuselah goes and, on behalf of his son Lamech, goes and seeks out Enoch, who has since gone off to heaven. But Enoch comes back in spirit form.
Of course he does.
At the edge of the earth, the end of the earth, and is like, tell me what's gone wrong. And he's like, well, my daughter-in-law gave birth to an angel, and my son doesn't think it's his. And Enoch's like, interesting. Well, all right. He is Lamech's son. Don't worry about that. He's not an angel. Well, he doesn't say he's not an angel. He's just like, no, it is your son. Don't worry about it. And like, go tell him, just be cool. Like, and cool. and he does, and that's that story. Like, that's how it ends.
And if that's not worth reading, I don't know what is.
Fifth part, last part. It's called the conclusion. Fittingly, this is chapter like 109 of First Enoch.
That made me feel good about myself. Every time I saw like chapter whatever 100 something, I was like, you're darn right I've read 100 something chapters of this crazy wacky book. Made me feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And the conclusion is basically like, let's just sum it up. Neat thesis statement at the end of all of this.
Closing thoughts. Be
patient, because in the end, the good will be rewarded and the evil will be punished.
And that's all we want. Yeah. Done. I was happy with that ending. I was like, not the summary I would have given. But
so let me tell you about these sheep and angels. That's the real conclusion.
Sheep and angels and demons. That's what I got from this. So have a good night. No. It was good times.
It was the worst of times.
Yeah, it was. We're gonna pick an amazing apocryphal book next.
Don't know what it is yet, because last time I said something, I was like, I've heard good things about Enoch, and we decided on air that went poorly. So we're gonna pick that carefully.
We're gonna research more in depth now, and hopefully there'll be more of the length of the Gospel of Infancy of Thomas. just a little nugget. Anyway, subscribe to this channel.
Yep.
Like and comment and share if your people are interested in what's not in the Bible, even if they're not. Still share. We really appreciate you guys. And any closing thoughts, Taylor?
No, just if you guys have particular like apocryphal books that you guys think would fit well for this format, then feel free to leave them in the comments below. We're recording these episodes a few weeks in advance, so we won't be able to take those suggestions into account for next week's video. But probably like a month from now, you might be like, oh, they're doing the book I recommended.
Or even just other things that what's not in the Bible could even expand into themes that aren't mentioned in the Bible or you think aren't mentioned in the Bible. And we could just wrestle through and talk through those. So yeah, whatever you guys want, we are here for you.
The future is bright, much like baby Noah.
Okay. So, on that note, thank you. And
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Killoran.
Thanks for watching.